Okay, let's talk a little bit about geopolitics and alliances. All right. We live in a world of countries. That's how the planet is organized for the most part. We can disagree with the concept of nation states. There are anarchists who do, there are others who do. We could argue that nation states have been a negative influence on human well-being, but that's a debate that we could have. Right now, nation states exist, and they are one of the most influential types of administrative body that affects the lives of the nearly 8 billion people on Earth. So the point is, relationships between nation states are of huge importance, period. Some of the largest damage that Donald Trump has done, some of the most difficult to undo damage that Donald Trump has done, is to our relationships with our historical allies, alienating us from many of our historical Western democratic allies, and instead sucking up and brown-nosing more and more to the authoritarians and the brutal dictators. And this ranges from, going from memory, you've got Kim Jong-un in North Korea, Turkey's Erdogan, Jair Bolsonaro in Brazil, Vladimir Putin in Russia, of course, President Xi in China, Rodrigo Duterte in the Philippines. There might be others that I'm forgetting. British Prime Minister Theresa May has now straight up condemned Donald Trump. As I've already covered, Donald Trump made these xenophobic tweets over the weekend directed at freshman members of Congress, such as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and others, suggesting they go back to their countries, of course, being the United States. Typical red meat right-wing xenophobia meant to distract from the endless Trump scandals that are going on. I already talked about that, the widespread condemnation from the American left. But now Theresa May is jumping into the fray. Certainly no bleeding heart liberal, to say the least. And in a statement, her official spokesman said, quote, "The prime minister's view is that the language used to refer to these women was completely unacceptable, period, full stop." Okay. This is not language that the leaders of our major allies tend to use about the president of the United States. And this is, again, forging new ground in this rapid decline that Donald Trump has been able to catalyze in our relationships with our historical allies. And once again, I know that the Trumpist right and much of the broader American right doesn't give two you-know-whats about this. Some Europeans don't like Trump. Good. Screw him, because Trump is doing stuff that's good for us, not what's good for them. And I support Trump. Make America great again. I'm going to order 10 more of those stupid red hats. Now, there is a fair criticism to make here, which is that very easy and convenient for Theresa May to say this now. She's on her way out. It's very easy for her now to say this, since it doesn't matter what the political consequences are of directly condemning the statements of an American president. She's going to be gone soon. And that's true. But that actually should be a warning to us, okay? There are likely many more leaders of our allies that are thinking the same things as Theresa May, that are seeing what Donald Trump says and does. And their sincerely held belief is one of wanting to condemn it, but they're not doing it because they've got to work with Trump for at least a couple more years. Because the truth is that this isn't even close to the first unacceptable thing that Donald Trump has done or said. So the idea that only now does Theresa May find Donald Trump's actions condemnable, that's laughable. She's preparing to no longer be the prime minister of Britain. It's a red flag that we're only now hearing this from her for the first time. And what it says to me is that more than likely, there are many world leaders who are just biting their tongues because they would have to deal with the political repercussions of saying, this guy is disgusting. We condemn what Donald Trump has said. We condemn what Donald Trump has done. So I hope that more and more world leaders will say what's on their minds. It needs to be made clear that only American Trumpists see this as normal, okay? The American left, most American moderates obviously don't see what's going on as normal, but it's important, and it would be useful to make clear that most of the world sees what's going on as outrageous. This is not what the office of the American presidency should be or should stand for. So no real pat on the back for Theresa May from me, certainly none for all of the other world leaders who are keeping quiet. Let's hear them say what they really think, and then let's have to deal with the repercussions of that. Let me know what you think. I'm on Twitter at @DPakman. Follow me there. Follow me on Twitter. You can also follow the David Pakman Show on Twitter at David Pakman Show for all the latest news and content from the show daily. Today's sponsor is Skillshare, and I'm excited to tell you that everybody in our audience is getting 2 entire months of free access to Skillshare when you click the link underneath this video. Skillshare is the site that offers over 25,000 online courses on almost any topic you can imagine: cooking, meditation, photography, video editing, Photoshop, managing a small business, almost an endless list. And whether you're trying to get ahead in your career, maybe you want to learn new skills that will make you better at your job, you might just be exploring a new hobby and you're trying to find new ways to be creative in your personal time, Skillshare's the perfect place to fully immerse yourself in whatever you're trying to learn. I really enjoyed the class on more advanced video editing techniques because it's something I've been wanting to improve at, but have been very busy hosting the David Pakman Show for the last few years. Once again, the David Pakman Show is giving you 2 whole months of access to every single class offered by Skillshare. After those 2 months, if you want to keep your subscription, Skillshare's super affordable at less than $10 a month. Get better at whatever it is that you're passionate about, or discover something brand new that you didn't even know that you would love, and join Skillshare's other 7 million users by clicking the link underneath this video.